Hi, my name is Mike. I'm from Zscaler, and I'm here today to talk to you about how Zscaler makes it really easy for NHS trusts to work together and share resources. So on my board, I've quickly drawn some services. So over here is a data center for Trust A and a data center for Trust B, some internet services like BBC or Facebook, some Office 365 or some SaaS services, and some cloud services like Azure or AWS. Now, when we think about the challenges that people have trying to work in this way, identity and access is number one. Identity and access into other people's system, it's really hard. Networks are really hard. We have overlapping IP addresses that people, it's just a challenge. And then three, we give clinicians multiple devices, which is never a good thing. Or we buy expensive VDI. And there is a better way, and I'm here to talk to you about it. Okay, so now we need to add some users into this solution. So let's draw some users for Trust A over here, and a laptop. And then we're going to do the same for Trust B. One laptop. Now, traditionally, the users in Trust A can only access Trust A's applications, and the users in Trust B can only use Trust B's applications. Why? Because the challenge around identity and access. So people in Trust A might have an old Active Directory and some M365 that is their own tenant, and Trust B will have some Active Directory and they may be a central tenant customer. And it's really hard for these two then to work together. We could have networks with overlapping IPs, which creates a nightmare for the tech teams. We will probably have multiple VPNs either side. Again, that's a new security headache for people. And then traditionally people solve this just by going, well, it's too hard. We're going to give Trust A user a device from Trust B and they can log in this way, and Trust B will get a device from Trust A and log in this way. So from a clinician perspective, multiple identities, multiple logins, multiple devices, it's a nightmare. Okay, so now we're going to draw in the Zero Trust Exchange, or ZT as we call it, which is the Zscaler cloud. And we're just going to draw it here like this. And the Zero Trust Exchange is going to be responsible for all of the communication between Trust A and Trust B. But before that happens, we need to get traffic to the Zero Trust Exchange. And we do that by placing a little tiny lightweight client connector on the laptops and inside the data centers of both trusts. We call this an app connector. And we can also put an app connector in public cloud, like Azure or AWS. Where this gets really cool, the app connectors in the data center that are responsible for internal traffic and Azure, that is just an outbound connection to Zscaler. No exposed IPs. Really cool, really secure. Okay, so now we need to get traffic to the Zero Trust Exchange. So we're going to get traffic from Trust A, from the laptop, and we're going to get traffic from the app connector. And the app connector is an outbound only connection to Zscaler on port 443. And then when we've got that traffic to Zscaler, we're going to create policy. And we create policy inside the Zero Trust Exchange because that policy is going to grant access to those applications or to those internet services for our users. So now we need to tell the Zero Trust Exchange about our users, and we do that by integrating the identity provider. So for Trust A, we're going to integrate their identity provider, and we're going to pull down users, groups, and departments, and that will populate the policy. Okay, now this is where it gets fun. So for Trust B, again, we've deployed client connector and those app connectors, and they're going to create that tunnel to Zscaler. Again, an outbound only from the app connector in the data center on 443. And then we're going to integrate now the identity provider of Trust B. And we will pull down again users, groups, and departments. And why is that important? Because now we've got one policy, but we've got two unique sets of users that can now share resources across both of these applications. Really, really simply. Now, what this can get really fun with is, let's say organisation 2 decides to move their EPR from being on premise and we move it to Azure. Now normally we would need complicated routing tables or firewalls or things like that for our users then to connect with, but here that app connector in the cloud calls out to Zscaler on 443, all nice and secure. Doesn't matter. User over here, if it's got access to EPR NHS.uk, it can connect. This user over here can connect, all because of the policy and the power of the cloud and using the Zero Trust Exchange. So now, because we've got all of our users and the groups and departments, and we've got all of our connections into the Zero Trust Exchange, this is so powerful because we've now got one set of policy, but two distinct set of users that can now connect to each other's applications, really simply. Okay, so hopefully you can now see how, by using the power of the Zscaler cloud, that we can solve these challenges. So identity and access, not a problem, solved. Networks and IP addresses, not a problem, there is no network. And we don't need to give people multiple devices or expensive VDI. So by moving to a Zscaler solution, we can secure, simplify and transform how the NHS works together. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. For more information, either please reach out to myself or your Zscaler account team.